What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, back with some more boxing. Back with another What's Next, Marcos Maidana. Gotta spend some time talking about Marcos Maidana. Now, here's a fighter who seemingly was on their way out. They couldn't seem to win their biggest fights. We knew he had power. And after the Devin Alexander loss, he moved up in weight. His first fight at welterweight, he lost. To me, it was pretty convincingly. He just couldn't track Devin Alexander down, get him into the type of exchanges that he was able to get Broner into. Maybe Devin was too quick, too slick. And he was even pondering retiring. That's coming from his words on All Access. Now, he knew he needed something big and he needed to do something desperate. So he went over to Robert Garcia. He said he went without even knowing Robert Garcia. He just heard he was trainer of the year and wanted to re-energize his career. Came over to Oxnard, California. Shout out to Cali. And he really researched his career. I mean, he strung up some impressive impressive wins since the Devin Alexander loss with Robert Garcia. He's beaten Jesus Soto Kras, who then afterwards beat Selçuk Aydin and also beat Andre Berto, who's an athletic fighter. Yesterday he was beat. Jesus Soto Kras was beat by Keith Thurman, but Keith Thurman's a great boxer puncher. He's young, he has power, and ultimately, Marcos Maidana, he's determined, and I think one of the reasons he succeeds is, aside from being a tough fighter, just a tough person, tough guy, I think he's a good student. I think he's willing to learn, and it shows because Robert Garcia has implemented some tactics, some game plans. Truth be told, in my opinion, I feel Marcos Maidana was able to, like a lot of his earlier fights, he was able to get by with minimal training, not really an appreciation for the art. He was just a tough person, not necessarily the best boxer. And he was able to get away with it because he has heavy hands and he's tough. He's going to keep trying. He has a warrior mentality. He has a chin. So those things kind of kept him fighting and kept him in good fights. But now we see, which is sometimes unusual, a fighter late in their boxing career, I think he's like right around 30 or something like that, who's picking up new things, new tricks. A lot of times you get fighters and they're kind of set in stone as far as what they know, and they've already picked up the bad habits that they're going to have, and it's hard to break them from that or change them late in their boxing career. Now, 30 is not old or whatever age Marcos Maidana is, but he's been through wars, and he's been in there with everyone from DeMarcus Corley all the way down to Eric Morales to most recently Adrian Broner. So for a boxer, age 30 could be considered old, but props to Marcos Maidana, really re-energized his career. He's learning from Robert Garcia. He's improving. I'm seeing him utilize his jab more. In the Broner fight, he was throwing punches from awkward angles and coming down in a very chopping motion, like an axe. And he was just coming down, catching Broner, overwhelming Broner, which is impressive because Broner, on paper and stylistically, it should have been probably like a Devin Alexander fight if Broner fought the right type of fight. There's no way anyone could tell me Marcos Maidana is faster than Adrian Broner, yet it didn't matter. He was still able to corner and bully Broner, maul him, and implement his game plan. So props to that. I think Marcos Maidana needs to keep fighting, keep growing. He earned a title last night, so that's going to hopefully keep his momentum up there. They were initially talking about a Keith Thurman and Marcos Maidana fight. I think Maidana might have had like an injury in training camp, so the fight was scrapped. And this was also before Keith Thurman had some of his recent impressive performances. So now I would really love to see that. Marcos Maidana versus Keith Thurman. It actually makes sense now. When they were talking about it initially, we didn't know as much about Keith Thurman. But since then, we've seen Keith Thurman get tested in his last two fights. Against Diego Chavez, who was an undefeated fighter and looked like a good boxer puncher who made him adapt, and he was able to get him out of there in the later rounds. And then against Jesus Soto Kras, who is a volume puncher, who's a veteran, who has a chin, and we're able to see him have to dip down and dig down into his gut and really pull out a win and change a few things around, mix it up a little bit, and that's great to see. So for Marcos Maidana and Keith Thurman to fight now, it makes a lot more sense. Keith Thurman, who is striving for a title shot, um, I think he's really deserving of one. He has an interim belt from Diego Chavez, which really is worthless, doesn't mean as much. So fighting Marcos Maidana would be a good look. It'll be a title fight. You got two people with lead hands, two people who are steadily improving. So I say make the fight happen. It's a good fight. It's an entertaining fight. It's a fight that will sell, especially if they did it on like a Mayweather undercard. Well, I don't know who Mayweather's even fighting, but in May, Mayweather's supposed to be fighting. So if they put that on the undercard, I mean, I see pay-per-view revenue all the way. So that's just my take on it. Marcos Maidana, props to him. True warrior, true tough, tough fighter who's a student of the game and really focusing on improving his career, and he's done just that. So props to Maidana and Garcia for that teamwork and that joint effort. And I look forward to much more from Marcos Maidana. Another thing is Marcos Maidana, after the Broner fight, he released a tweet. And to me, it's just good to see that there's genuinely good people out there. Like Marcos Maidana seems like a real chill, just good-natured person. He tweeted this. He said, "My respect to Adrian Broner as he fought bravely until the end. Tremendous fighter." Now, Marcos Maidana, based on all the animosity, the butt fucking and humping in the ring, all the trash talk that Marcos Maidana received from Adrian Broner, due to all of those things, he could easily not be the bigger person and be like, "Oh, I beat his ass. That's victory enough. I'm not going to say anything good." But the dude's classy. He showed respect as a fighter, as a person, by tweeting this, and it just makes you like him more. Broner, on the other hand, not so much. So let me know what you guys think. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.